So this has been a really great program so far. I just want to say, as the president of the club, thank you to everyone for being here, and I hope you're enjoying everything that we've put together for IAP Day, and thank you to Patricia for all the work you've put in. The first segment we want to do in the Kids Awards is something we dreamed up, almost a year ago now, when last February, March, COVID was pretty new to the world. We were all grappling to figure out sort of what is this that's developing, what's going on, how long are we going to be doing unusual things because of it? And some of us thought, who's really good at learning things fast and explaining them is really kids. And we have some really great kids in our network. So let's put out a request that kids send us videos.
از بالا آوردم هم نگاه میکنم ببینم.
Thanks, Patricia. Let's have kids send us videos. Let's have kids send us explanations. Let's review them, and then we'll have some awards to give out. And so we are grateful to the kids who could join us today. Well, I should say we selected some winners. Of those winners, we're very grateful to the kids who could show up today and both present their work and talk about it a little bit. So we have some videos that Serena's going to play. The format we're going to use is play a video and then talk to the author or producer of the video and get a sense for what they learned and what the experience was like for them. With that, I'll let Serena show the first video. Right, which is the winner of the K-2 category, PARTH DESHPANDE.
Let's learn about the never-ending war between the humans and the viruses. Here comes a virus into the human body. Knock, knock, knock. Can you open the door and let me in? No, you look like a stranger. Get out. Oh, no. I have to be smart about this. Let me try again. Knock, knock, knock. What's the password? Please. That's correct. Come in. Din, 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 din. Din, 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 din. I have a special gift for you. Eat it. Nom, 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 nom. Now let's multiply. He, 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 he. Din, 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 din. Din, 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 din. Nom, 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 nom. He, 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 he. Help, help, help. We are the antibodies who came to save you. We are the antibodies who came to save you. Strangers, you'll get eaten, you'll get eaten. We are the white blood cells, let's gobble up. Dun, 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 dun. Human body wins.
So this was amazing. I had to call a few people in my family over to watch the video with me. Parth, thank you for your submission. First, I'd like to know, have you done claymation before? This is quite the, yeah? How long did it take to make the video?
How long did it take? I don't know.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Can you tell me how, one of the different characters, there were the yellow cells and there were the white blood cells. How do they work together?
The antibodies stick onto the virus, and then until the white blood cell gets there, they stick onto the they stick onto the virus, and then when the white blood cell comes, it will gobble up the virus.
Yeah. have you, we only have a few minutes to talk, so I only have one more question. Have you learned a lot about COVID since then, or anything particular that you want to share with everyone here?
I learned, my mom told me how COVID was spreading, and me and my dad made a clay animation.
And we have an audience question too. Parth, I'm curious if you have plans for when you grow up already.
When I grow up, I want to be a scientist that can kick out the virus from Earth.
Yeah, we have a lot of hero scientists right now. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us and for making this video.
Thank
And-
you for giving me the trophy.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, great. Thank you, Parth. And then Serena is going to play the runner-up video, Melian Chen, also in the K-2 video category.
Hello and welcome to the Dr. Melian Show. And here's our host, Dr. Melian.
Hi, my name is Nellie-Ann, and today I'm going to teach you, we're going to talk about the coronavirus together, and I'm 5.5. Virus. So scientists figured out that viruses came from wildlife, and that means animals that live in the wild. And so to me, the truth to me, I think the virus came from a bat. So, achoo! So if someone
Well, it looks like there's technical difficulties. Maybe we could chat with Melian while Serena works out what's going on with the rest of the video. Melian, are you here? I don't see the video. Oh, hi. Yeah, of course. So thank you for making this video. I wanted to know where you started learning about coronavirus.
I started learning about the coronavirus with my mom, because in the morning or at night she always reads the news, because that's when she gets to because in the daytime she does her work.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to learn more about the coronavirus, so she taught me more about the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also a brain doctor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's watch the rest of the video and then I'll have more questions. Just giving things a minute to queue up here. Well, Melian, why don't you tell me, have you always had that stage in your house? How did you get that set up?
Oh, that was just my bed.
Oh, it worked really well. Okay, let's go.
It sends the saliva with the virus in it, and it can go into someone else and affect them. Achoo! They're really tiny, so you may not see them, but in a microscope we can. But and wearing a mask helps, or if you're not wearing a mask and you cough and sneeze, you have to try to cover your mouth with your arm. and you sneeze into your arm, and then you wash your hands after.
But what?
Achoo! The virus gets into a cell, and they take over the machinery and make them to make more viruses and affect more cells and more. And takes over the machinery of the DNA and RNA and to make more viruses.
Huh.
How does the body's immune system fight off the coronavirus? From white blood cells. The B cells in your body and your part of your immune system make antibodies, and they stick onto the antigens on the virus, and so it attracts more macrophages to the battle, and they can eat them.
Huh.
Yeah, excellent. That's a great explanation. Really appreciated it. Wanted to know, let's see. Can you tell me about the machinery of the cell that the virus uses to replicate?
Yeah. So the virus has little things on it, and they open the cells, and they make the cell make more viruses.
And then the immune system had, what's a,
The
Yeah, wasn't-
antibodies and the white blood cells.
yeah. Yeah, well explained. Thank you. And thank you for being here with us. Is there anything you want to tell everyone?
Yeah.
Get vaccinated.
I want to tell everybody that, did you know that the virus is actually changing?
Yeah, that's crazy. We didn't know whether to expect it or what to expect. Is there anything about things people should do to prevent getting the vaccine?
Getting the vaccine.
Yeah. And do you have plans when you grow up?
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to learn, study more things like this?
I also want to be a brain doctor like my mom and dad.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. It sounds like they do a lot. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Millian.
Thank you.
Next, let's go to grade 3 to 5 runner-up, Emma Terry will show just part of the video first. We don't have time for the whole thing. Serena, let's start at 0:52, and then I think you'll know where to stop.
Now, of course, I can't actually do a test for COVID-19, but what I can do is teach and explain it and give an example of using a demonstration. I'll explain step by step what the doctors do and use. In order for a doctor to do a test for COVID-19, they need very specific tools. Those tools are a person to test, a nasal swab, a little tube, polymerase and reverse transcriptase, primers and nucleotides, and an RT-PCR machine. The first step is that the doctor will stick a nasal swab up the patient's nose and get some cells. Then they put the cells in a tube. Next, they get the RNA and DNA out of the cells. Finally, they put the tube in a PCR machine. In the RT-PCR machine, the RNA will be converted to DNA with reverse transcriptase. Then primers will stick to the DNA. The DNA polymerase will connect the nucleotides to the primers, creating a double-stranded DNA. Next, the temperature is raised so that the DNA separates into two pieces. This cycle repeats about 30 times, creating millions of identical DNA strands. Here is a video of me giving a demonstration of an RT-PCR. So here we have our cell with its DNA. When the virus comes, it attaches to the cell and it injects its RNA. First, we break apart the cells to get out DNA and coronavirus RNA. Then we add primers, nucleotides, and reverse transcriptase, which will add nucleotides to the DNA primer, creating a DNA strand from the virus RNA. Then we repeat the process with DNA primers and DNA polymerase to create a complementary strand of DNA. The temperature is increased to separate the two strands of DNA. Then the cycle repeats over and over, doubling the number of DNA strands each time. I hope you like my video on coronavirus testing. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Hi, I'm glad you could be here. So first I'll ask you, when did you start learning about COVID and how did you start learning about it?
I was interested, well, of course, I first learned about COVID when there was this whole lockdown and we couldn't go to school anymore and we had to learn from school and from home. And I was always interested in how you could find out if you had COVID or not. And my dad helped me learn about like what happens in the RT-PCR machine and like how it's done, and yeah.
And in the video, actually, particularly, you seem to know a lot about the RT-PCR machine, so that makes sense that you learned that your dad knew about it. And I wanted to know, there were a lot of ingredients. First of all, I really appreciated the video demonstration with the bead. That was I thought, great idea to show what was going on. And I was curious about the ingredients there. If you want to say anything more about the primers, the nucleotides, or the reverse transcriptase, and how they interact.
So in the machine, they take away the they separate the virus RNA from the person's cell, and then they add DNA primers and nucleotides, and then they make a strand of DNA, and then they repeat that cycle with DNA polymerase and make a double-stranded DNA. And
yeah, and then that leads me to, how do they know at the end if the test is positive? That was at the end of your video that we didn't have time to show.
yes, when there's millions of copies of virus DNA strand, the virus DNA strand, then they can tell if that person has COVID or not. And I actually did the math to find out how many double-stranded DNAs they would need in order to see if that person has COVID. They need 1,703,741,824 strands of DNA.
What happens if that number ends in 823 instead? Do you think it's not enough?
I think it's the same.
Yeah. No, that's how did the math work? What did you have to multiply out?
For some of it, I used a calculator, but you would have to multiply 1 times 2, and then 2 times 2, and then 2 times 2 equals 4, and then 4 times 2, and you keep on multiplying the answer times 2.
Oh, you mean because it grows by 2 every time?
Yeah, it multiplies by 2 every single time.
And then you know how long it takes.
And they do it the cycle about 30 times.
Oh yeah, great. That's great to move the intuition into math, and that's great to connect the whole cycle together. So thank you. And thanks for your excellent video.
Thank you for letting me present.
So I also want to ask you what you want to be when you grow up, and if there's anything you want to say to people.
I don't know yet, but I really like technology and shortcuts in computer science and whatnot.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Emma. Okay, so our next runner-up is our next student is our grade 6 to 8 runner-up, Shamala Rawari. And she has a presentation she's going to show us in the next 5 minutes or so. Hi, Shamali.
Hi, I'm just going to share my screen. So can everyone see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Shamali Bavari, and I'm very excited to be here presenting today. Today I'm going to talk about the project that I submitted for the MIT Kids Explaining COVID-19 competition. So before I start talking about my project, I wanted to share a little bit about myself. So I'm 13 years old in 7th grade, and I go to Kennedy Middle School in Cupertino, California. I like to read, write, paint, sketch, and I like stargazing too. And in school, my favorite subjects are science, math, history, and literature. And when I grow up, I hope to become an astronomer. And here's a picture of me. And so before I show everyone my project, I just wanted to say that it's a little bit different from what you may have expected. I created it specifically to target kids on the autism spectrum instead of neurotypical kids. I decided to do this because I was inspired by my 10-year-old brother, Adi, who is on the autism spectrum and who didn't know much about the deadly virus until very recently. So here's a picture of him on the left. Among many kids on the spectrum, skills vary. Adi specifically sometimes struggles to verbally express himself, but his receptive skills are much better. However, there may be other kids on the spectrum that are good at verbal communication, but have a hard time with comprehensive skills. Because of this variation between kids on the autism spectrum, my project is most likely more useful for kids with similar skills to Adi. As I mentioned, Adi was the one who inspired me to make my project for kids on the autistic spectrum. Adi always follows a set routine. For example, on walks around the neighborhood, he always has to touch the same tree, pick up a leaf from the same bush, and walk on the same side of the sidewalk every time. I imagined how he must feel to suddenly be forced to stay at home, to attend his classes and school virtually, and to not be able to visit the places he loves, and to have to do all of that and not know why. This was what truly inspired me to take action and to help kids on the autistic spectrum learn all over the world learn about COVID-19. Even though they may have different abilities from neurotypical kids, it is still critical for them to understand what is going on in society and how it affects their lives. My project is in the form of a short comic called a social story instead of a video. And it has colorful images to help autistic kids understand what's going on, and it acts like a visual aid to help them. So in the social story that I'm about to present, which is like a comic, you will learn about the following things. So I'm not going to read all of them because I'm a little short on time, but these are the different things that you will learn about. So as I said, it's a comic, but I divided it up into the smaller boxes within the comic so that it's easier to read. So the first box says, coronavirus is a virus. It causes many diseases. One disease is COVID-19. If you have COVID-19, you may get cough, fever, and shortness of breath. We can't go to our favorite places because of the coronavirus. No school, no playgrounds, no store, and no friends. But you can still have fun at home. You can cook, you can walk, and you can read. You can talk to a grown-up if you are feeling scared. They will make you feel better. If you want to get rid of coronavirus, just use soap. Inside, soap has molecules. One side of the molecule likes fat, and the other side likes water. There is a layer of fat on the coronavirus. It holds everything together. The soap molecules are attracted to fat, and they pull the fat out. So the soap molecule pulls the fat out, the water washes the virus pieces away, and if you wash your hands for 20 seconds, then soap will kill the coronavirus. There are things you can do to stop coronavirus from spreading. You can wear a mask, and you should also stay 6 feet away from people. Then the coronavirus can't jump from one person to the other person. Cover your mouth when you cough, and don't forget to wash your hands and let the soap do its magic. So that was my social story. I hoped everyone enjoyed it. Now I would like to share a few pictures of myself reading the social story to my brother for the first time. So this was the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Actually, we can open this if someone else wants to ask Shamali questions. Shamali, excuse me. But I have questions. One is, yeah, go.
What is your favorite song to sing while washing your hands?
I just normally sing happy birthday 2 times because it's 20 seconds.
Well, it's cool. I want to know something that we've learned since the comic was made. Is there anything new you want to share with people?
Well, I've learned that that despite your ability to learn or your ability to understand things, it's still important that everyone have a chance to. It's still important for everyone to have the chance to learn about things like COVID-19 that are very, very important in society for people to understand. And so despite your abilities and despite the way you learn and your comprehension skills or anything like that, you should still have the ability to learn about important things. So that's one thing I learned when doing this project.
Yeah, that's very moving. Thank you. And thanks for sharing the story with your brother in addition to the story about sort of coronavirus and the social story itself. Can I ask, so what are you interested in being when you grow up?
I want to be an astronomer.
Okay, great. And the second, I hope all the kids who are interested in astronomy stick around for the Arecibo presentation later this evening. I forget what time it is. I don't know if it's after bedtime or not, but I hope there's interesting resources about astronomy that lots of people at MIT have access to.
Filter.
It
But
does have its own filter.
I know.
Anything else you'd like to share with everything with everyone, Shamali?
I don't think there's anything else.
Cool, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your submission.
Thank you for letting me present.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Patricia put in the chat the Arecibo presentations at 5:30 this afternoon. So I hope people who are interested can tune in.
Padding over it and stuff like that, because a lot of people online.
Wait, Simone, somebody's okay, great. Let's see. So then next I want to talk to our grade 9 to 12 runner-up, Mahi Ravi, who submitted a PDF, which was very involved. And Mahi, are you here? Great.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
May I request if I could share my screen? I guess. Is that okay?
Yes, it's fine with me if it's technically allowed. Serena might have to turn something on.
Yeah, and if you want, you can share the PDF before, if that would be okay.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, it might take me a second to pull up. Let me go ahead and ask what I want to ask you. Oh, I mean, I was going to ask to summarize sort of what the different, oh, thanks, Serena. But there's a lot here about different mechanisms of action. So it seems like you learned about the different sort of ways people were trying to make drugs. And I thought you could tell us, either if you want to give us an overview or just tell us sort of which one ended up working and how that works.
Yeah, sure. So I originally got this article from one of the websites I was making, and I kind of got inspiration. I was originally going to start a little coronavirus website to kind of educate the public on different treatments and different drugs on the coronavirus, because I feel like, you know, the prevention aspect was getting a lot of attention, but I don't think the treatment aspect was getting as much. And so that's kind of where I got this article from. And right now, as of now, remdesivir, which is one of the drugs I talk about in this article, ended up making it to getting approval from the FDA. So that's the one that's progressed the farthest. Granted, this has been a long time since this was published. It was around a year ago or so. And also many vaccines as well have come forward now, as we know. But I think, if you don't mind, could I share kind of how I wrote this paper, or a little bit more about the organization, if that's okay?
3 minutes and say whatever you want.
Okay, sure. So basically, sorry, I'm gonna have to use the Google Slides because the presentation is kind of hard to use. But basically, I started a website called thecoronapage.com, which basically synthesizes coronavirus drug information into really simple formats for people to understand. And the reason why I started doing that was the problem. Originally, only 50% of Americans reported that they would vaccinate for the coronavirus. And there were a lot of Americans trying unsafe methods to avoid the coronavirus, such as using bleach, using household cleaning products, drinking bleach solutions, and it was really unhealthy. And this was all because of fear. And I got that, and I understood, you know, and in very fearful situations, people take chances and risks that they wouldn't normally do. And so what I decided to do with the extra free time I had, because my high school closed down early, was I built this website. And what it tries to do is it combats misinformation, prevents clear facts, and dispels myths on vaccines. And it's just one website with, I hope, everything on it. And so as of now, my updates, I've founded a team of 15 members, college students, and it was a huge nerve-wracking journey, honestly, reaching out to them, because originally I was like, is this website even gonna matter? Like, is it big enough? Can I even help? Because I'm only a high school student, but I learned so much about myself on the journey. And I got 5 advisors and 5 doctors, which is really cool. And I even got to take interviews with professors at Stanford, hospital workers, and recovered coronavirus patients, which was really amazing. And so, yeah, here's some additional links about the website. It's completely nonprofit and everything. It's just something I like to do in my free time because I think one of the most important things we can do as individuals is to lead organizations that are impact driven and show us our initiative. So that's kind of the end of my presentation.
Yeah, that's great. Have you done things like this before, sort of creating websites to inform people and bring people together?
No, actually, this is my first time doing everything. It was kind of a leap. It was something that I didn't think I'd be able to do at all. But it was just one step at a time, and that's kind of how I taught myself like website development and searched everything up in Google. It was my best friend. And I reached out to people on LinkedIn, and my network grew a lot as well. And I'm really proud of how much I've come thanks to this pandemic. So I have a lot to thank for from this pandemic.
Yeah, pros and cons is interesting. It's an unusual time, but some people have made a lot of good come from it. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to tell everyone or anything you'd like to say about your plans after high school?
Yeah, so this is a little bit personal, but basically, I think the last in September, my dad originally got diagnosed with cancer, lymphoma cancer, and so after he got diagnosed and I heard of his diagnosis, I switched my efforts to more cancer-based and cancer-focused things over viruses, and I started dabbling with molecular softwares, trying to figure out whatever I could from whatever resources I had access to. So I kind of emailed Schrodinger, which is a drug development company, and I kind of asked them if to give me a license for one of their products. And obviously, with the fee, I docked a lot of lymphoma proteins with targets, and tried to better understand how they worked and how they binded. And so in the future, I really want to help out with cancer, early diagnostics, and I'm very, very much interested in cancer vaccines and immunotherapies right now. And honestly, it's surprising, but we learn so much from obstacles. We learn so much and we can grow so much. It's like an opportunity for us to learn more about it. So I have a lot to think as well, even though it was very hard. And great news was that he finished his therapy treatment on January 6th. And now he's completely free, cancer-free, which is really nice.
Quite a journey. Thank you for sharing it with us. Was there an organization that you wanted to specifically talk about in the chat?
Yeah, I will just put the link in the chat for those you guys are interested in. Yeah, and then, feel free to subscribe if you're interested.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us and for explaining all of that. And so that's sort of one program we had, kids explaining the science to us. And then for younger kids, if you remember February and March, we thought the main thing to do was wash your hands because we didn't think there was much transmission through the air, which we've learned a lot since then. But we have one video that Aditi Balakrishna made for us about washing her hands. And so I don't think we can show the whole thing, but if Serena can show just part of the video and then see if Aditi would like to say anything.
Welcome to AAN News. Today we have a breaking discovery we need to share with you all. Half of America does not know how to wash their hands. We'll be back after these announcements.
Are you tired of watching Disney Plus all day long?
Yes.
Are you tired of watching TikTok all day long?
Yes. Then I have a solution for you. It's called books. What? Yup, books. You can find them here, or even here.
Wow, that's actually kind of interesting.
So read a book during your time at home. Now, back to the news. Today we have a very special guest with us to teach us more about hand washing. His name is MC Scrub-a-Dub-Dub-Dub. Are you excited?
Yeah!
Hey guys, it's MC Scrubby-Dub-Dub-Dub, and I'm here to show you my new song called Washing Your Hands. I hope you enjoy.
Hey kids, we all sing the ABCs while washing and cleaning, but here's a cooler song for you and me. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your whole family that washing your hands is cool like me. Get some soap, get some water, and start scrubbing. Scrub-a-dub-dub till the bubbles are forming. You need to get the germs away. You need to get them down the drain. You don't want to start seeing crowns on your hands and your face. Everyone start washing. In the knacks and the cracks, everyone start washing everywhere you can. And just like that, 30 seconds are gone. I guess you don't need a kindergarten teacher after all. Mic drop.
Thanks for watching AAN News. I hope you enjoyed. We're definitely gonna go wash our hands now, right?
Cool, thank you. I am inspired to go wash my hands right now. But I will sit here and ask Aditi, are you here? Let's see if there's a video on. Oh, okay, we thought Aditi was going to be here. If she's not, then I will go ahead and pass to Jason, because Jason ran a program for kids on finance. And so Jason Escamilla, MBA 02, it runs our finance and fintech track at the MIT CNC. And I will let you go ahead with your kids program.
All right, hey, great videos, guys. That was fun. I got a little bonus getting to watch your videos. And I think I've been slacking on my hand washing. I'm going to add a couple more seconds back in there. So basically, we did a financial literacy camp, and it was part financial literacy and part investing game, and it was a short period of time. So they had to really get lucky, I guess, to some of the winners. But it was fun. They got a chance to pick stocks and learn a little bit about companies. We're going to let some of them share some of their thoughts with you guys. But we covered things like, earning money, then what do you do with it? And then you got to plan for retirement. And how do you plan for retirement with the money that you earned? Well, you save it, you invest it. So we covered things about, companies and how, many of them out here, their parents work for companies that are making interesting products. Some companies, they have something that you want. There was a lot of great examples that they would throw out. But it's funny. It was really interesting to watch the level of activity in the chat, because I felt like the kids were all had so much great things to share, and they could just kind of be firing away on chat, like in a way that's an experience I didn't have when I was a kid. Like they can kind of have that involvement without while also keeping up with the flow of the class. So yeah, there's a couple of things we're going to do. So we're going to announce the winners, and we're going to announce everybody actually who completed class. And I think there's 3 of them. I know Rafa's on there. I think I saw Katie winners, and did Trip make it on? I'm looking. So send me a message, guys, or just put a message in the chat saying, hey, you're ready to share. But we'll get started by listing let's list the participants. Let's just here's what we'll do. I am going to share my screen after I hide these columns here, and just sort of, I think it might be a little bit easier to actually, what we're going to do, we're just going to show all of the winners, and it's going to show it all right here. Okay, so all right, share my screen, and away we go. So this is the gang right here. We were very busy. We did all kinds of stock trading, and day after day we had two games. But bottom line is we've got this is everybody. It was an awesome group. We just had such a great turnout. I won't read all the names of everybody off here in the interest of time. I want to let them speak more. But for those of you who weren't familiar with the winners, so we've got Smyrna. So everybody went by their city. So Los Altos, Smyrna, just to so we had this public document that anyone could look at. Didn't want all the names on there. And then we had in second place was Rafa, and then Erica Park over here. She was on with her brother Alex, he was also a third place winner. She was a second place winner. So what does that mean? So they actually won a prize, like they won, gift certificate, but more importantly, they got to pick a charity that they also got a similar amount of a prize. So like the first place winner was like a $50 for them and $50 for the charity. So we're going to give them a gift card and they'll get to pick the charity. But, they got to tell us a little bit about like what charities were important, things that companies do that interest them. And also, how like companies might sell something that's interesting today, and then down the road, maybe not so much. And then that goes into like how good of an investment they could be. I really wanted to cover taxes, but I spared them. We ran short on time, so no one had to deal with taxes this time around. But anyway, so let me see. Hey, oh, actually, you guys see the winners here. We had a second place, like who, like I was gonna name. I'm not gonna name all the winners. You guys can see them. I want to let them pop. Hey, Rafa, are you ready to go? Can you tell us a little bit about how the week was, or maybe something since then? So this is Rafa. We knew him as Brazil Rafa, and I actually his dad and I went to school together. I know my team. So go ahead, Rafa, take it away. Let's unmute you here.
Hi, my name is Rafa. I'm from Brazil, and I'm really glad to be here. The stocks that I picked were Tesla and Zoom. I picked them in both games.
Nice, Rafa. And yeah, Rafa, like he was strong in the first game, and he obviously was the winner of the advanced game. So the advanced game was a chance for them to continue picking stocks and seeing how it went. All right, Rafa, you got anything more you want to share, or was that it? Was that it from south of the equator?
That's it.
Hey, great. All right. Hey, cool. Great to see you, Rafa. All right. So let's see. Who's next? Is Katie or is Trip on the line there? And we learned about how people could write on the screen. We learned a lot of interesting parts of Zoom. It's actually a great way to get familiar with Zoom, is to put on an event like this. So when you guys are thinking about next summer volunteering, it's a lot of fun. So Katie, I think, there's Katie. You ready to, hey, Katie, did you have anything? Yeah, go ahead and fire away. Introduce yourself and just, you can tell us anything you want.
I'm Katie, and I'm from Belmont, and I don't remember exactly what I chose, but I changed a lot of my stocks throughout the week. But I believe I started with Amazon and Facebook. Thank you.
Nice work, Katie. All right, and then yeah, we you guys want to see what she did? So she was, let's see, 40% Amazon, 40% Zoom, and let's see here. She just let it ride. So she let it ride, and you guys, maybe if you were paying attention to the stocks this summer, there was some wild rides in the market. That was around the time the stocks were splitting. And so, so you guys as prize winners, hey, Katie, have you decided who you want your prize to go to?
I chose Samaritan House.
Nice, nice. And what about you, Rafa? Did you decide? I know you told me, but you get to tell us one more time, I think.
Yeah, I chose cancer.
All right, the Cancer Society. That's great. All right, so next up is if Trip made it. Trip is who taught us all about how you could draw on the screen. What do you say, Trip? Did we any sign of you, buddy? All right, we might have missed him. He was he was in another time zone, so it's possible we slipped out. So to kind of give you some more, so Karen was there the whole time, and it was so helpful to have many people. We had Wilson on as well to help out. And just want to pause for a second because I see my video is a little slow. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry guys, I want to make sure my video is coming through. Can you guys hear me okay still? So far, so good?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. When I saw myself delayed on my screen, I got worried there. So yeah, so like so we basically covered a wide range of financial topics, everything from there's companies that are doing things to help make the world better. There's companies that sell products that people want, but maybe you may or may not want to invest in them. And then we talked about nonprofits. So which kind of that dovetailed into where the kids got to pick a prize. So not only were they trying to save for their retirement and for their own prize, but also, so they could pick a charity that they could support. Does anybody have any questions out there in the audience? Any takers out there? All right. Well, that is the bulk of what I wanted to cover with everybody. So,
thank you so much, Jason. This camp was very, very popular. I think you had a limit of maybe 20 students, but at least twice that signed up for the camp. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we had when you count them all up in here, over here in the full list, we're pushing like 35 to 40 when you add like the siblings and everybody on there. And part of what we would do is we would talk about, because we did have a wide range. It was years 9 to 13, and there are some, I think they had a fake ID. There might have been a fake ID in there from one or two of them, but they were able to also kind of like some of the kids that were wanting to share, they could explain some terms back to the class again. So I tried to kind of throw some ideas out there and then let other people explain it, and talk about it a little bit more. That was my guess as a non-professional educator, to let them put it in their terminology and all that.
Well, thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you. It was such a special experience to like hang out with 30 kids this summer, and they're all so talented. So thanks, guys. I learned a lot from you, and keep up the good work.
Great. Thank you.
And I'll turn it back over to the folks in charge. We got a little extra time.
Yeah.